Welcome back. I'm Tedward. Welcome back to the 2024 Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato, and welcome to a pretty rainy, crummy day here in Southern California. Every year, me and Chris Amos, Charlie Dreyer, and Chris Brower, the Tophers and Charlie of the Daily Motor, we try to make a little trip out to Southern California to hang out. We get a lot of press cars out here because there's a lot of stuff in California that we just can't either get in Michigan and Boston, or, you know, the reality is we just like hanging out with each other, and this is a fun thing. Unfortunately, this year, the week we chose to be in Southern California is the week where we've had unprecedented rain. There's an atmospheric river coming through this area, and it hasn't been the most pleasant. However, it doesn't mean we haven't made the most of our cars, and we got a couple good days of filming before, it was just flooded everywhere. And I think that this is still a good opportunity to test things, because the Lamborghini Sterrato especially, it's a daily driver Huracan. It's got a little over 6.5 inches of ground clearance, and it's got all-terrain tires. It's not the sort of bougie, prissy, frou-frou supercar that can't go out in the junk. It's designed to go sideways in gravel and dirt. So we're going to go return this thing to Lamborghini Newport Beach, but why not take it out for a little rain drive and just enjoy the car as a car, because this is fun. So we'll start it up. Always theatrical. And to put it in drive, we just pull our paddle. I like putting it in sport mode because I genuinely don't like looking at this screen. That screen is not for me. This screen is for me. It does make the exhaust louder, which that's a good thing, that's fine, but it means I'm less surreptitious in the neighborhood. So our windshield wiper controls are right here. I feel like I'm a million miles away from the windscreen in Huracan, just because it's such a long dashboard of kind of unused space and all that stuff. And this drives me bonkers. I have a hard time figuring out how to use everything in this car, but we'll just leave it. I'm just gonna put this on, let's say, 69. And we should be good to go. So let's head out of the neighborhood and return the thing. Let's make sure our headlights are on too. There we go. See, that's the thing. I don't love auto headlights because they don't always turn on when you have your wipers on. And make sure that garage door is closed. Good. And sometimes it's not dark enough when you need them, and they're not turning on because you're like, well, there's enough light, but that's just not the case. So even though we've got like pretty good ground clearance in this car, overall, the approach angle is not great. We've still found ourselves kind of like touching things, and there's little plastic guys underneath the car, so it's not like you're scraping the nose of the car, but you will very occasionally get like a of just plastic on road. As the Huracan warms up, it keeps the red line at 6,000 RPM, and then we'll eventually let you rev it out. The most cumbersome thing about the Sterrato, though, is the rear visibility. There's none at all, and I don't really know why. I think maybe the Scoop does that, but the reality is, like, I feel like you could just put on sort of a normal glass rear deck lid on that and it would be fine. But like I said, I mean, there is like a roof scoop for an intake, so that likely is the reason that this is cumbersome and awkward, and you'll never know you're being pulled over. You really won't, unless like the cops are stepping way out on you. You're gonna just have to kind of check your six regularly. So far, very stress-free. It's easy to drive because of the ride height and suspension. now I'm just being obnoxious. Like, it encourages you to be obnoxious. Anytime you hear someone driving around in a Huracan and they're making a lot of noise but not going all that fast, like, I used to be like, oh my goodness, like, get over yourself. Now I'm like, nah, I fully get it. I fully get it. I always make so much noise in these cars. It's fun. It's really hard not to make noise in these cars. Feels really stable in the rain. I haven't encountered any situations yet where I'm like uncomfortable with it. Even in the Aston Martin on summer tires, the DBX 707, we were driving that the other night in the rain. It was pretty heavy, and it was starting to wander on me just a little bit, and this is not. These tires are so far okay. I don't know what the braking distances are and all that kind of stuff, but it feels like they're evacuating water. I don't know that I'd be this confident and comfortable in an STO or a Technica. Be careful about that RAV4. Seen the business end of an accident. So as people out on roads like this with no headlights on, this is what I mean when I say, like, you got to use actual headlight controls and not just rely on your auto headlights, because sometimes it's not dark enough and the cars just don't know, but it's really silly. Can you imagine if your airline pilots were that clueless? We allow a lot of, like, silliness on roads, and people just don't check for anything. I mean, honestly, when was the last time you got in your car and did a walk around before you started driving, just to make sure you didn't have any flat tires? Like, you're trusting that TPMS system or whatever. And, you know, I always try to just do a quick once over before I get in a car, just to check. But, you know, imagine if your airline pilots didn't do a pre-flight check. You'd be like, oh my goodness, this is horrifying. But yet people out on the roads driving with no lights and flat tires they don't know about. Getting filmed in the Huracan. Not surprising, honestly. This thing's really cool. was an adult and I didn't go for that extra downshift that I didn't need. How does it do that? Puts all the power down. McLaren Koenigsegg, Pininfarina, Lamborghini. So cool. Look at a Bugatti Veyron. What is happening? This is great. What a cool parking lot. Oh, I'm so happy. How many times do you get to like pull up and see a Veyron in the rain? Are you kidding me? That's bonkers, dude. Oh man. Okay, what else do we have? We've got another Sterrato, an STO. This is, what a cool store. Ultra practical. Excellent Lamborghini. So, thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I hope you enjoyed like a little commute, a weird rainy commute in the Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato. This is such a neat thing to play with, and I don't want to give it back, but we got to, unfortunately. This is where we're at. I gotta give back my Lambo. I don't want to do it. All right, don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.